Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Do you have Islamic questions that you would like to know the answers to, but unfortunately have no access to ulama in order to ask them? If so, then join us on Ummah Radio every Thursday evening at 8:30 p.m. GMT for the live questions and answers show with myself, Abu Musab, where you can ask your questions directly and inshallah find the answers to those questions. For more information, visit Ummah Forum on http www.ummah.com/forum. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Ummah Radio. Today, February 20, on this Thursday evening. I'm your host for today, Yassar, with Abu Musab. Okay, let's get to the questions. Remember, for this Q&A, you can send in your questions via Skype to Ummah Radio or on the forum on the Q&A thread. Okay, first question. Are we allowed to participate in pension schemes at work? I'm here with Abu Musab. Are you there?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm here, Yassar, and how are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good. How about you?
Alhamdulillah, no complaints my side.
Cool. All right. Let's get straight to the questions then. All right, first one, are we allowed to participate in pension schemes at work?
Bismillah walhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillahi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. When it comes to the issue of pension schemes at work, pension schemes, there are different types of schemes depending on whether it contains riba or not. And that is the deciding factor with regards to whether it will be permissible or not permissible. So without seeing the actual, as you can say, the contract of it, there's no way that a person can give a definite answer to the issue. However, if you have, like with many companies, they take a certain percentage of your salary and then they keep it for you until you, as you can say, you complete your contract, so to say, for your pension and things, and then they give you an additional amount from their side. This then will be considered to be a gift from the company, and in that case, it will be permissible. Wallahu a'lam.
Okay, next question. Say you bought a handbag from a store, and when you came back home, you found some cash from its back pocket. Do you have any right to that money, content of the bag, or no?
Okay, when you buy the thing, basically you have bought a bag. You did not buy the money which comes in the bag. The money is there by mistake. Either someone stored it there or someone put, whatever the case may be, but the money is not supposed to be in that bag there. So it's not, as you can say, a lucky packet that you got here, that now it's permissible for you to take that money. No, it will not be possible. So therefore, you would have to return the money, explain to the shop, the owner, whatever the case may be, that I bought this bag and when I came home I found this money. And this would apply to anything else, not just money. Say you buy let's say there was some box, for example, and you open up the box and there's some other item in there which does not belong in the box. It's supposed to be an empty box. But now either, say something simple, there's a chocolate inside, or there's some cutlery inside, or anything, whatever it may be. There is something in there which does not belong in there. Then in this case, you have no right to that additional item because it was not part of what was the transaction conducted. Because if the owner knew that item was in there, he would not have sold it to you, or if he had sold it to you, he would have sold it to you at a different price. So therefore, this item does not belong to you. So therefore, it is your duty that you return it back to the owner. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallahu khair. All right. We have several questions on prayer. All right, first one. When you go into the seating position after the first prostration in any rak'ah, where do you place your feet? Like, is it on both toes, or is it the left foot flat under the bottom, or something else?
Okay, when you get up from your first sajda and you are in that sitting position, then your right foot, your toes will be facing towards the qibla, with your whole foot being propped upwards, straight upwards, and your toes facing the qibla. Your left foot, your toes as well will be facing the qibla, but your foot itself will be flat and underneath you. So not both feet standing upright, nor both feet laying flat down. And this is according to the Hanafi madhab. The other madhab may have differing opinions on this, but this ruling is how the Hanafi madhab says, that your right foot will be propped up with your toes facing the qibla, and your left foot will be underneath you, also with its toes facing towards the qibla. Wallahu a'lam.
Okay, next one. Is it a must to perform sajda to saw with every kind of mistake?
Okay, with regards to sajda sahu, the sajda sahu comes when you leave out a wajib, as you can say, an obligatory action in salah. So let's say, for instance, you forget to recite Surah Fatiha, or you forget. Okay, there's two things. One is sajda for forgetfulness, and one is for adding something additional which is not supposed to be in there. So for what you call ziyada and nuqsan, increasing or decreasing something which does not belong in the salah itself. So let's say you make 5 raka'at instead of 4 by mistake, naturally. So in this case here, because you added an additional one, you will perform sajda to sahu. So it applies to doing missing out a wajib action. So let's say you go into ruku' and you forget to say Subhan Rabbil Azim, or whatever the case may be, and you just your mind goes blank, and then you get up and you have not said anything in your ruku'. Then in that case, what you have left out is a sunnah action. So in this case, you will not have to perform sajda to sahu. Sajda to sahu, like I say, if you forget Surah Al-Fatiha, in that case, or you forget to in your witr, you forget to make the witr itself, then in that case, these are wajib actions which you have missed out, and these things will necessitate sajda to sahu. But the mere missing out of any single thing, that will not necessitate or cause sajda to sahu to become obligatory upon you. Like I say, it's for wajib actions, not sunnah actions. Now there are many things in the salah which is sunnah, and those things which are wajib. So for that, you would have to break down the salah in its entirety and look at each thing. Is the sunnah or wajib, or what place does it serve, or what rank does it hold in the salah? And that will be able to tell you whether you have made something which now requires sajda to sahu or not. For example, if you are performing 4 rak'ats salah, like for instance dhuhr, and then you forget to sit after the first 2, that's a wajib action. So you forgot to sit there, then in that case you will perform sajda to sahu. So there are things like this. When you forget and miss out a wajib action, then only will come sajda to sahu, not when you forgot as you can say, a sunnah action. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah khair. Okay, next question. What is the ruling on making an error in the durood after the final tashahhud or the tashahhud itself? Is it a must to go back and correct the mistake, or is it okay to continue?
Okay, with this, it's like I just explained now previously, there are those things which are sunnah and those things which are wajib. Now this dua here is sunnah and not wajib. Therefore, if a person missed it out, then he will not be required to perform sajda to sahu. Obviously, this should only be taking place in cases where a person forgets something. But a person should not now out of his own decide, no, since this is sunnah, I'm not going to do it in the salah and things like that. That will lead a person astray, because then you will be playing with salah. So you perform your salah properly, the way it's supposed to be, like Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Sallu kama ra'aytumuni usalli." Perform salah the way you have seen me perform salah. And it's only when you forget and it slips your mind, then you will look and see, okay, is it necessary that I now have to make sajda sahu or not? So yes, in a case like this is a sunnah action, so here you would not be required to perform sajda to sahu. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah khair. I have a question. Do you have any recommendation of any books the brother can get for prayer, so he can learn with the sunnats and wajibs and whatnot?
Okay, but one quick thing here, someone sent a message. He said if you can just mention the Skype address for people to send in the questions. So anyone who has any questions, you can send in your questions via Ummah Forum. The thread is in the Ummah Radio section. You will find it there, live Q&A on Ummah Radio with Abu Musab, Thursday, 20th February 2014, the whole long thing there. You can't miss it. In fact, there's a big banner on the top of the forum as well with a direct link to the thread, so you can follow that way. Alternatively, you can send in your questions via Skype, so the Skype name being Ummah Radio. Okay, coming to the question now of good kitabs for learning how to perform salah. There are two which comes to mind. One is written by Mufti Abdurrahman Mangera. That's the one which I can think of now. Fiqh al-Imam, I think it's the name of his book. The last time I saw it, it was available as a PDF online. In fact, if you were to search it, you would most likely be, just Google search it, you'd be able to find the link. Another book which is even better than that one is Salah of a Believer by Sheikh Riyadul Haq. That one I find to be, it's much more detailed. He gives a basic version and he gives a more detailed version, what's the dalil and everything of the sort. So I find, if for a person who wants to know how to perform salah, that one is a book I would recommend. And that one too is available online. So if you search, like for instance, Salah for a Believer, Sheikh Riyadul Haq, PDF, whatever the case may be, however you decide to search, inshallah you'll find the link online and you can then download it and read it that way. Alternatively, you can go into one of these bookstores and they would probably have it there. Unfortunately, don't ask me the name of the bookstores because I don't live in the UK and those places, so I don't know which bookstore would be selling it. But yes, it is available from bookstores as well as online, so you can follow either one of the channels. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah khair. Okay, next question. Can a person give away a gift given to them?
Yes, you see, when a person gives you a gift, then that gift automatically becomes your personal possession. So obviously when something is now your possession, you may do with it whatever you want to. So if you want to take it, throw it in the bin. Obviously, we're not talking now from a sin point of view. So obviously if you waste something, it's sinful. So, but technically, if you were to take that thing and throw it in the bin, it would be valid because it is your personal possession. If you were to take it and eat it up or give it away or break it or whatever the case may be, technically it's all permissible because it's now your item. So if you want to, say someone gives you a jacket and you don't want to wear it, then the person who gave it to you can't find a fault with you now as though you have done something wrong that you don't want to wear the jacket. Obviously, as you can say, from an ethical perspective, one important factor which needs to be taken into consideration is the feelings of the person who gives the gift. So this is what should motivate and direct a person with regards to the usage of gifts. One thing with regards to gifts, the ulama have mentioned that when a person gives you a gift, apart from thanking him verbally, you should also make use of his gift the way he has given it to you so that he can see that you are grateful and thankful for that which he has given you. So say he gives you a jacket, then you put on the jacket and he can at least say, Alhamdulillah, I gave that man a jacket and now I see him wearing the jacket. So it puts feeling in his heart. And this is something that is very important. So if you are going to be giving away a person's gift, sometimes it cause a hurt to a person's heart, and you think, I went out of my way to buy this for this man, and now he just come and take it and give it away. So you must make certain that these type of things should not take place. While I just said now, the hadith comes to mind. A person came and gave Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam a new shawl. Another Sahabi it's mentioned in the hadith that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was in need of it. And then while some Sahaba radiyallahu anhum were present, one Sahabi came and said, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, give it to me. And we know the attitude of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was that he never said no to anybody. So when this Sahabi asked him, then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam took it off and gave it to this Sahabi. The other Sahaba radiyallahu anhum took him to task for this and said that that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was in need of this and everything like that. But he said the reason I did this was because I wanted it to be, as you can say, as a kafan, because this cloth which has touched the body of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam cannot be touched by the fire of Jahannam. So this was the reason why he asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam for this shawl. But the point I'm trying to get to is that this was a gift given to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave it away as a gift to this person here. So that would be the dalil, so to say, from hadith to prove the permissibility of it. But obviously, like I say, you take into consideration the feelings of the person who has given the gift, so that you don't cause them undue harm and sore feeling in their heart, even though they may not verbally tell it to you. Okay, there are certain things. A person gives you, let's say, a chocolate now again, for example, and it's considered to be something so small. So you go and a child comes up to you after this person just gave you a chocolate, and then you give it off as a gift to the child. He don't think anything about it, doesn't affect him, it's, so in that case, there's no harm in it. But, if it's going to now cause, like I say, some sore feeling in his heart, then you should not do it. If you do want to give the chocolate to the child, do it at the time when this person is gone and you are there alone, and you can give the child the chocolate then, so that the person who gave it to you, he does not know really what you did with the gift, whether you ate it up, whether you gave it to somebody else, or whatever the case may be. He's unaware. As far as he's concerned, you ate up the chocolate. So his heart is at peace. So therefore, keep in mind the feelings of the person. But yes, technically, it is permissible to give away a gift which somebody has given you. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah khair. Remember, folks, you can give in your questions on Skype to username Ummah Radio, or on the forums. You could see the banner on top, and we have the thread. Okay, next question. I have seen some relative of mine have a bottle of water, and inside have a small piece of paper with ayat of the Quran written on it, and they drink the water and keep refilling the same bottle with the water. What is the ruling on that?
Okay, when it comes to things like this is all, as you can say, to do with matters of ruqya. And a lot of the ruqya things, you will not find explicit mention from the Quran and the Sunnah. So what we do know, as you can say, you recite over water, you blow over it, permissible, yes. There's one mention I cannot recall exactly. I read in one kitab, it could be of Imam Ibn Kathir rahimahullah, wherein he mentions a narration. Authenticity is not mentioned to the best of my knowledge at this moment, but he mentioned there is a narration that Hazrat Ali radiallahu anhu, who spoke about you write the ayat of the Quran with rose water or one of these type of waters, and then you drink that water thereafter. So with the water, you write the ayah and then you drink the water. So this is just two different aspects of it. So when it would come to putting the ayah in the Quran like this, there's another amal which is of not quite ruqya, but of a similar nature which comes to mind is what some ulama they do. They write when there's, as you can say, a lot of ants around, then they say they write ayah Ya ayyuhan namlu udkhulu masakinakum, that ayah of in Surah An-Naml, when the ant told other ants, "O ants, enter your houses," when Sulaiman alayhi salam and his army was passing by. Then they write this on a paper and they bury it in the floor, and they say through tajribah, as you can say, personal experience, they have found that the ants go away. So this is what is all as is termed as mujarrabat. It's people tried it and it worked. So this one here, I assume, I have not seen it myself, but I assume that it is of the same nature, that whatever ayah they have, or ayat they have written, ayah to shifa, whatever that's in this water here, or rather that's in this, on this paper that's put into the water, it's supposed to affect the water in some way. So if that is the case, if there's some specific reason for it, then through tajriba, then yes, it would be permissible. Obviously, it's not from the sunnah, but yes, there would be permissibility for it. But you have the other way, like I mentioned, you can recite the same ayah and you can blow it on the water and it would be the same. But many of these, as you can see, these amals that the people do, there are a lot of specifics to it, that you have to blow it 1 time, 2 times, whatever the case may be. All of this is just tajriba, personal experience and stuff, and there is no basis anywhere in the Quran or the Sunnah for any of these actions and things. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallahu khair. That was actually my question. Okay, next question. If someone has bought cat food and it's probably not halal, a generic UK brand, should they dispose of it? Also, can you just confirm that buying non-halal meat is impermissible?
Okay, with regards to cat food, dog food, or any other animal food for that matter, it is not permissible to buy haram for them. So you have other types of foods for these animals. Let's say you buy, if it's a cat, you can buy tuna. Obviously, tuna being fish is permissible. There's no question about it. But this foods, rather these pellets and stuff that they make in all these big bags and cans and stuff, they make it out of, say, meat of whatever they have slaughtered there or whatever not slaughtered, they're carrion and stuff. This is considered to be like meta, like I say, carrion, and therefore for that reason it is impermissible. Yes, it is not permissible to buy non-halal meat or to buy this carrion and stuff like this. When Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had mentioned that when Allah forbids people from eating something, then likewise you are also prohibited from selling that item. So in this case here, the haram food, and okay, another hadith which comes to mind also, when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam took the Jews to task and said that Allah prohibited them from eating the fat of the animal, then they gathered the fat and they sold the fat, and then they started using the money that the Prophet made from that fat. So Allah forbade them from the fat, and they just simply did it in a different manner, because now they weren't eating it, they were selling it and making use of the money. So this was the Jewish way of doing things, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam condemned them for it. So we see all the different ways of how these things become impermissible. So non-halal meat, okay, we basically call it straight out haram meat, or any item which contains anything of haram in it, whether it's containing wine, whether it's containing actual meat, whether it's containing anything else for that matter too. It could be, as you can say, beef, which is a halal animal, but it was not slaughtered according to the Sharia. In this case, it's also haram. So therefore, it will all not be permissible to buy or to sell or to give to anybody else or to an animal, but rather these things have to be disposed of. So you cannot take, let's say you buy a cake, for example, and you find out this is a rum cake. It's got rum inside it, a rum ball, a brandy ball. You didn't know about it, you bought it, and now you find out, you read the label on the box and it says it's a brandy ball, for example. Now in this case, it's haram. Obviously, it contains alcohol. So you can't eat it. You can't take this ball now and say, okay, I've got my maid working for me and she is not Muslim, so therefore let me give it to her. No, that will not be permissible. Nor can you say, okay, my cat, it's like a garbage disposal, it just eats everything inside, so let me give it to the cat and the cat can eat it up. Thus too will not be permissible. You will have to take that ball and put it outside the way to dispose of it and not feed it to any human or to any animal. And this would apply to all other haram items as well. Wallahu a'lam.
Okay, next question. If someone was gifted a bottle of wine and they keep it for whatever reason in their house, is that sinful and should they dispose of it immediately?
Okay, when it comes to giving or getting a gift, a bottle of wine as a gift, firstly, it's not permissible to accept it. So already the acceptance of the gift is impermissible. Let's assume a person did accept it, he was too weak, whatever, to say that it's not permissible or anything of the sort. Or somebody just, he found a parcel and he signed for it and he opened it up inside and then he found it's got a bottle of wine in it. So the various ways that the wine can enter into the house. So now you find yourself sitting with a bottle of wine. In this case, you have to dispose of it. When the command came down and Allah had forbidden wine, Allah forbade wine in stages during the Quran. Then Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu each time saying that Allah should make the issue a bit more clearer, more clearer, more clearer, until finally Allah said, abstain from it now, finally it's over, it's done, it's all haram. Then in that case, when that came down, then the Sahaba who were sent out to inform the people that wine has now been totally prohibited. The Sahaba who were sitting at the time and still drinking, they took those same barrels and everything, broke everything and poured all the wine out. So in a like manner, if you are sitting with a bottle of wine, you cannot sit with the bottle to look nice on your shelf or to just have it there for the sake of having it or anything of the sort. Rather, you have to dispose of it as well. And like I say, you can't say, no, it's a 1927 bottle of old brandy. It's probably worth $20,000 or something of the sort like that. I'll give it as a gift to my boss here who's a non-Muslim and things. All of this is impermissible. You have to dispose of the wine. It will not be permissible for you to make use of it. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallahu khair. Next question. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I hope you are well, akhi. I am facing a confusing situation. Some people are saying that it is an obligation to make takfir on the rulers of Saud and label them as taghut, while some people call them munafiq and some remain silent on the issue. How must I deal with this situation?
Okay, when it comes to the issue of the Saudi family, Saudi royal, so-called royal family, and the rest of these people, definitely there's no doubt about them being oppressors and taghut and things like this. The issue that people have is with regards to whether they are kafir or munafiq. And really, when the term munafiq is used in the Sharia, it's not the Indian munafiq. In Urdu, you call in English, you call a person a hypocrite. It holds no real weight. In the Sharia, when a person is called a munafiq, it means he is worse than a kafir. He is إِنَّ الْمُنَافِقِينَ فِي الدَّرْكِ الْأَسْفَلِ مِنَ النَّارِ. That Allah says in the Quran that the munafiqeen, they are in the lowest pit of Jahannam. They are lower even than the kuffar. So if people are debating on this point, I can understand it. So yes, I do know you find those people who say that no, they are evil and everything, but they are still Muslim. Now, this is related to another question which was asked at another time, also on this question and answer session, with regards to ruling by other than what Allah has revealed. And we know that to rule by other than what Allah has revealed, there are the two views. One which says it is outright kufr, and you leave the fold of Islam, and the other says that it is kufr duna kufr which is less than kufr. It does not put you outside the fold of Islam. This basically, this kufr duna kufr is another way of saying it is an extremely major sin, but it does not put you outside the fold of Islam. So that's with regards to ruling by other than what Allah has revealed. But additionally, what I mentioned also at that time is one thing is to rule by what other than what Allah has revealed, and another thing is to make laws contrary to the laws of Allah. One thing is tashri', that is you making your own laws, and this is much more severe. The ulama have said with regards to this that the person who makes his own laws in conflict and contradiction to the laws of Allah, this is kufr and would expel a person from the fold of Islam. So not restricting it to only the Saudi rulers. You have all these Zardaris and we know Musharraf, he was a kafir, there's not even a question about him. So you have the Zardaris and you have the King of Jordan and you have all these other so-called Muslim leaders around the world. The whole lot of them, or rather let me say 90% of them, there may be one good one here or there, but they are few and far between. The majority of the so-called Muslim leaders are sellouts, useless, and they are not fit to lead a flock of sheep, let alone lead the ummah. So such people, you will find like I say, you will find the ulama differing, some calling them kafir, some not calling them kafir. And here's another issue which somebody did ask about, which is still supposed to come in a later class, inshallah. Somebody asked about a class on takfir, the laws and so on and so forth. And I did touch actually on the topic of takfir in the past, but what I mentioned back then is that when the ulama make takfir of a person, then you follow them. It's not for the man in the street to make takfir because he's not aware of all the, as you can say, the nuances and all those sort of things. So it's for him to follow the ulama. If he finds the ulama have said that so-and-so is a kafir because of X, Y, Z, then it's his duty also to follow and say that this one is a kafir due to X, Y, Z. And therefore, it would not be permissible for him to believe that this person is a Muslim, because when a person is a kafir, you cannot, whoever believes a kafir to be a Muslim, he himself becomes a kafir. That's another principle of the Sharia. So, like I say, you find those scholars who are soft in their ways, who look for more excuses and things to try and say that no, they are munafiqin in the Urdu term, as hypocrites, but they are not outside the fold of Islam. So therefore, on matters like this, what the issue here, the questioner said about remaining silent, the term of the ulama is to make tawaqquf, mean you don't go this way nor do you go that way. So if you want to, you stay like this and you say you make tawaqquf. You don't go to the extent of saying he's a kafir, nor are you saying that he is let's say you're not saying he's a Muslim either. You're not going to make any definite statement, judgment about them. That we leave to Allah whether this person is actually a kafir or not, because we don't know the reality. That's if you want to make the tawaqquf view. But there are a number of scholars who have said that the Saudi rulers are kafir due to a number of reasons. And like I say, one of those reasons is the tashri'. They're making their own laws. And I suppose you can look at each thing in its own time as to why they say this and why the opposing group says something else. So that one you will look all in its own due time, and then you can judge who is giving its ruling based on evidences and who is giving his ruling based on, as you can say, being a scholar for dollar or for is close to the king or anything of the sort. So you can have a look there, and then you will see which ulama make takfir for just reasons and who are doing it for wrongful reasons because maybe the king didn't give them something or anything. But you can check it and you will see that there are definite pious ulama who have also made takfir on them. So you can follow them in that and there will be no harm upon you either. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah khair. Another question, is it correct if you read Surah Al-Ikhlas 10 times, you will be rewarded with the palace in Jannah?
Okay, the issue of reading Surah Ikhlas 10 times, there's the thing which comes to mind right now, there was a video on YouTube a long time ago of Sheikh Mishari Rashid Al-Afasi, wherein he recites Surah Al-Ikhlas 10 times over in 10 different styles. And in that video, it was mentioned the same narration about reciting the benefits and the virtue of reciting Surah Al-Fatiha, Surah Al-Ikhlas 10 times over. Now, with regards to the narration itself, the ulama have said that there is some weakness in the narration. However, like I say, the ulama differ on the point itself. Those who say that it is weak, and those who say that no, it is acceptable. It's reported by Imam Ad-Darimi, rahimahullah, and Imam Ahmad in his Musnad, rahimahumullah, and in other places as well. So, the one narration which comes to mind is where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that if you recite it 10 times, then Allah builds a palace in Jannah, and if a person recites it 20 times, Allah builds 2 palaces, and so on and so forth. And then until Hazrat Umar radiyallahu anhu said that, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in that case we will we'll read it to you so that we can get more and more palaces. Then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, فالله أطهر وأطيب, أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام, that Allah is more generous than that. So as many times as you recite it, that's how many palaces Allah will give you. It's not something which is limited, and no, you are restricted to only having 1 or 10 or 100. You can have a million palaces also. There's no end to it. Wallahu a'lam. Okay, Yassar has stepped out for a moment. He will be back in a few minutes time, inshallah. So I will just check here myself to see if there have been any new questions posed or not. Okay, just quick repeat here. The question has asked again, due to tuning in late, with regards to the pension schemes question. The answer which was given is that it depends on the scheme itself. Some would contain riba, and those ones which contain riba would be haram. But you have, as some companies do, where they take, let's say, 4% of your salary, and they put that away for you for your pension fund. So they are taking your money and they are putting it away for you. And then at the end of your time, they see how much money you have, and then they give you, let's say, you have gotten altogether £50,000. That is your total amount which has been amassed over the years of your work there. So now you're sitting with £50,000. So now the company from their own side, they say, okay, we'll match it with an equal amount and we'll give you £50,000 from our side. So in this case, it would be treated as a gift from the company, and therefore it would be permissible, and there would be no harm in you accepting it and using it and everything of the sort. Wallahu a'lam. Okay, no more questions on the thread, it seems. So I will move off to Skype to see if there are any new questions here this way, on this place. Okay, a questioner has asked, Assalamu alaikum, if a person reaches masjid early and he sits there and waits, but he sleeps in sitting posture and wakes up after 15 or 20 minutes, is he supposed to make wudu again? Same question about travelers, both seated and standing. If he sleeps for a few minutes, so he has to make wudu again. Okay, wa alaikum assalam. On the issue of sleeping, there's a lot of difference of opinion amongst the ulama. There are some who say that if you fall asleep anyhow in any posture, your wudu is broken. The reason why wudu breaks with sleeping is because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that the eyes are the knot of a person's let's say his behind. So when when the eyes, meaning when a person goes to sleep, then that knot is loosened. So you don't know whether you've passed wind or not. So therefore, you find that those ulama who say that when you are sitting in such a posture where it's not quite so possible for you to pass wind, and you fall asleep for a couple of minutes like that, then in that case it would not affect your wudu. If you wake up like that, your wudu would still be valid. Now, what postures are those exactly? The ulama have mentioned, like if you sit in the tashahhud position, that would be one way. And there are some other ways that they mention, but on the different ways, there are a difference of opinion, like I mentioned. So, if a person is sitting there in the masjid and he sleeps, then like that, his wudu will not break. Another thing is that a person must not be leaning against anything. So a man comes to the masjid, he lays in the corner, he sleeps, rests on the wall, and he sleeps like that. In that case, the ulama say that no, his wudu would break, and he would then have to go out and perform wudu before he can perform his salah. The ruling of wudu not breaking is if a person is sitting still, he's not propping himself up with anything. So obviously, if he were to fall over, he'd fall, there's nothing holding him up. In this case, then his wudu would not be invalidated by him falling asleep for those few minutes. Wallahu a'lam. Okay, another question over here. Assalamu alaikum. Is it permissible or forbidden to lie in order to hide a good deed one has done? Okay, wa alaikum assalam. When it comes to the ulama of the past, they always used to say that hide your good deeds the way you hide your sins. However, when you hide your deeds, it should not be mixed with lies and things like this. So, if a person asks you, a person catches you performing tahajjud and asks you, are you performing tahajjud? Now you're trying to make something and you say, no, I'm not performing tahajjud, I'm performing qada of another salah and things like that. There's no need for you to lie, because there is no harm in you telling a person about that you are doing a good deed. It will not invalidate your good deed, unless obviously you're going around telling people that, I do this, I do that, therefore I am pious, I'm holy, I'm a holy moly, I'm holier than thou, all those sort of things. That is wrong. But the mere mentioning of some good thing that you do to people, that will not be wrong. So therefore, if you have a good deed, hide it, but don't resort to lying in order to do so. The hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had mentioned the occasions when it is permissible to lie, like in warfare, or a husband and wife, like I mentioned. Also last time somebody asked a similar question. A wife has got a new jilbab, and she asked the husband, do I look fat in this? And then he say, no, you look still as beautiful as the day I met you, and things like this. This would be permissible, instead of the person speaking now, as you can say, the truth and saying, no, you have more rolls than a bakery. Put that thing back, because really it can't fit you. Okay, obviously, if it's not fitting right, you make some other in a softer manner to tell her, don't wear this because it's too tight on you, and something of the sort. But that's a different topic all on its own. The topic is a man and his wife has had an argument, and now they're not speaking to one another, and now you come along, and let's say the brother-in-law, so now he comes along and then he lies to the wife and he says, you know what, your husband is missing you so much, even though the husband is not missing her. He's only too happy that he doesn't have to speak to her. But now the brother-in-law, he goes to his sister and he tells her that, you know what, I just come now from your husband, and he's so sad because of this argument between you two. He can't wait to get back to you together again. So her heart becomes soft, and she thinks to herself that, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I should apologize to him. And then he goes again to the husband and he tells him, you know what, I just come from my sister now, and she's like this. She can't wait to apologize to you, and she's so sad. She wants to get back together again. And then he also feels, maybe I should give her another chance. Maybe I was also in the wrong. Then he comes to apologize to her, and she to him. So you wipe you remove the problem between a married couple. This is one of the occasions where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has permitted lying. And like I say, lying here is more, as we term in English, a white lie, not blatant, outright lies, just all willy-nilly like that. So that types will not be permissible. So if you have a good deed, hide it, but don't resort to lying. Wallahu a'lam. Okay, another question over here. In Islam, is it okay to continue to care and love someone who has betrayed and neglected you? What if they are a non-Muslim? To continue to care and love somebody who has betrayed and neglected you, yes, it is permissible. In fact, the Quran and the Hadith mentions time and again that the person does bad to you and you do good to them. We're talking about a person who intentionally does bad to you. Then, because of you doing good to them, Allah may soften their heart and you can come back. You can come together, being better than before, and like for family, you continue to keep family ties and all these type of things. These are things which are beneficial for you. So yes, you would continue still to care. In fact, there's a hadith where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that keeping family ties is not big like this. A man, your cousin comes to you, so therefore he comes to you, he speaks to you and everything. So now therefore you speak to him. Now you feel I'm keeping family ties. If he don't come to you, you don't go to him. So you say he ignored you, so therefore you just doing likewise. This doing of as you can say, an eye for an eye in family ties is not permissible. This Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, this mukafa'a, this is not valid. You would be considered to be a person who is not upkeeping family ties. Upkeeping family ties is when somebody breaks off with you or harms you or anything, and then you still do good to that person. That is considered as upkeeping family ties. So yes, if a family member or somebody has harmed you, betrayed you, neglected you, whatever the case may be, and you are still good towards that person, it's well and good, and it's 100% permissible. As for when they are a non-Muslim, some of the Sahaba radiyallahu anhum, their parents had not accepted Islam, so the Quran and the Sunnah still puts out the rules and the regulations with regards to dealing with non-Muslim parents. You will still care for your parents and everything of the sort. So despite the fact that they are non-Muslim, that's why Allah mentions وَإِن جَاهَدَاكَ عَلَىٰ أَن تُشْرِكَ بِمَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْمٌ فَلَا تُطِعْهُمَا وَصَاحِبْهُمَا فِي الدُّنْيَا مَعْرُوفًا. That if your parents who are non-Muslims, they strive against you in order to commit shirk and to attribute things, partners and things to Allah which you have no knowledge about, meaning you know Allah has no partners, now you're making your own thing up to say that Allah has partners. Then Allah says, فَلَا تُطِعْهُمَا, don't obey them in that. But وَصَاحِبْهُمَا فِي الدُّنْيَا مَعْرُوفًا, but live with them kindly and nicely and properly in this worldly life. So despite the fact that they are non-Muslim, you still have to upkeep your duty towards them and look after them and everything of the sort. So yes, if your non-Muslim parent had neglected and betrayed you too, then you still continue with the same thing because they are your parent, so you will continue in that manner. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah khair. I am back. Okay, next question is about Ramadan. It's pretty long. Okay, Ramadan falls in the summer these years, and one of these years I slept between Asr and Maghrib on the day before. Hold on. I slept between Asr and Maghrib on the day before the first of Ramadan. I woke up after Fajr and fasted that day. It was my intention to fast as I had already made plans for suhoor, but slept throughout the night. Do I have to make my intention during the night before the fast, or is making the intention for obligatory fast before the fasting day enough? Do I need to repeat that year's fast again? The intention was made before the sunset of the previous day, and I slept before Maghrib. I am assuming the intention cannot be made while asleep, so there was no thought of intention during the whole night. Is it not the case which you explained where the intention is made at night but not waking up for suhoor or not verbally making intention? In this case, what happens to my fast?
Okay, like I explained in, was it last week's thing or the week before, I can't remember. But a person should make your intention the night before. However, the ulama have stated that during the month of Ramadan, if a person misses out, let's say he sleeps through the night, he doesn't get a chance to make an intention, so obviously he's knocked out, that he would miss his Isha Salah and everything of the sort, right up through Fajr and everything. So he's given the leeway right up until Nisfun Nahar, as you would say, midday. Now, midday, not in the, as you would say, the Western terminology of it. Okay, perhaps it may be the same thing, but you judge midday to be from, as you can say, Maghrib of the night before was, say, 5:30 p.m. and as you can say, the next one is also 5:30 p.m. and you then work it out halfway. What time does that put you? Let's say it puts you at, for example, I know the calculation is wrong, but let's say it puts you at 11:30 a.m. That is midday. Then Nisfun Nahar. Then in that case, you are allowed to make your intention right up until that point, provided you have not eaten anything. This is now obviously after Fajr and everything, and the sun has risen and all. This portion of time before the sun reaches its zenith, you would still be permitted to make your intention right up until that point. So if you woke up like this, not having made your intention the night before, not having gotten up for Fajr, and you slept right through, now that obviously sun is up and everything, if you make your intention at this point, well and good, your fast will be valid and you can continue fasting in this manner. If you don't make your intention because you feel that, okay, no, I got up late, I missed my suhoor and everything, so therefore I can't fast today, then in this case, obviously you have done wrong and you will have to repeat and make the qada of that. But yes, the ulama say you have a leeway right up until Nisfun Nahar, midday, in order for you to fulfill your, rather for you to make your intention to fast for that particular day. Wallahu a'lam.
What does midday constitute again?
Midday is basically, like the name says, the middle of the day. So, okay, let's take it. Sunrise is, we say sunrise is 5 a.m. and sunset is 5 p.m. So, okay, no, that's not quite the same thing. Okay, let's just work on a thing like that. That where would midday sit if it was 5 a.m. to 5 p.m.? That's 10 hours, so
12, you mean?
12, yeah. So that would basically be the middle of the day. So as long as your intention is made before then, it would be valid. But you don't have to worry about all those things. You look at your own calendars in your own country and things. You see when the sun reaches its zenith. For those of you who don't know what the zenith is, because I see sometimes people don't know what it is, it means when the sun reaches its highest point. And it's this point when the sun is here, you may not perform salah while the sun is here at this point. So as long as you have made your intention before this, it would still be valid. But once the sun reaches its zenith and it goes further on, or even while it's at its zenith, then any intention you make there onwards will not be valid, and you would have to repeat the day after that. Although you would still have to avoid eating for the rest of the day, but you would still have to make the qada for that day as well. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah khair. Alright, on to the next question. Remember, everybody, you can send your questions in to Ummah Radio. The username on Skype is Ummah Radio, or on the forum, just look at the banner on top and click on the link. Next question. I came across some Shia websites which brings in an incident called, they call Ghadir Khum. Ghadir Khum. They reference some hadith from our Sunnans. Was there any incident at Ghadir, and how reliable are the hadith they quote?
Okay. With regards to Ghadir Khum as it's termed, definitely the incident took place. In fact, if you want to read a little bit on the ahadith which are on the topic, you can visit my blog, which is darulilm.wordpress.com. You can search under the fatwa, one fatwa which is called whoever's master is whoever accepts me as a master, then Ali is his master. Based on the hadith, man kuntu mawlahu fa aliyun mawlah, that is the hadith. And somebody had sent in some time back in last year a question to the Darul Ifta with regards to this issue. So therefore, that fatwa from my blog, you can read it up there with regards to the authenticity of the narrations. Basically, the narrations which says that wherein Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, "Man kuntu mawlahu fa aliyun mawla," that whoever I am a master for, then Ali radiyallahu anhu is also his master. All these ahadith are authentic. There's no problem from the perspective of the hadith. The problem comes from the perspective of the Shias, because the hadith says nothing of the sort which the Shias say. Another hadith which is quoted is wherein Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam told Hazrat Ali radiyallahu anhu, are you not pleased to be to me in relation to me like how Harun alayhi salam was to Musa, except that there is no Nabi after me. Yeah, the Shia try to use this to say that it was another way of saying that Hazrat Ali radiyallahu anhu was to be the Khalifa and things. But this is also incorrect, because the Nabi who took over after Musa alayhi salam was his nephew Yusha ibn Nun alayhi salam. He was the Nabi who took over, and not Harun alayhi salam, because he had already passed away. So the Shias come along with their own deviancy and kufr and fabrications, and they manage to hoodwink many of the ignorant people, because they quote left, right and center Mustadrak of Hakim, and they like to quote books which are not freely available to the layman. So they quote Al-Bidayah wa Nihaya, and they quote this left, right, center, 110 narrations. Imam Ibn Hajar says it's authentic, Imam Dhahabi says so too. So the ignorant, the Sunni who reads it, he thinks, okay, no, my Maulana must be lying to me, because here the Shia is giving me all these references from my kitabs, and it's all showing that these ahadith exist here and things like this. And then that's how you find some people that fall into the trap of Shiism. But in reality, the ahadith exist, which are there, and it has nothing whatsoever to do with Shiism. Shiism itself is a cult of kufr, and their kufr has got nothing to do with Islam, and the Hazrat Ali radiyallahu anhu is free of them, despite the fact that they claim in their weird minds, they claim to love Hazrat Ali radiyallahu anhu, but in reality they hate him. So no, the ahadith of the incident of Ghadir Khum is authentic, but everything that the Shias tell you with regards to it, you can just take everything and dump it in the bin where it belongs, because everything that they will tell you will have a Shia spin on it, and it is all just to be plain outright rejected. Like I say, if you want to read the hadith and a short thing on the topic, you can visit my blog there. The link is darulilm.wordpress.com. You'll find it under the fatwa section that whoever accepts me as a master, Ali is his master. That is the name of the article, so you can read it in there, inshallah. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah khair. All right. Follow-up question. Thank you for answering my question. You mentioned that continuing to care for non-Muslim parents is permissible. However, is it permissible to do so to a non-Muslim who is not family and who has betrayed you?
Yes, even in this case, it would still also be permissible. There's nothing which, as you can say, makes it haram. So yes, if as you can say, there's some friend, although you're not supposed to be having non-Muslim friends, but in any case, yes, it would still be permissible. Wallahu a'lam.
What if this friend was of an opposite gender?
Obviously, when you're talking opposite gender, there's a lot of things which are to be taken into consideration here for the amount of things which can open, as you say, the doors which can open, which are, like I say now, you don't know who is this person, what relation are they, what exactly is taking place over here. Like you asked now, opposite gender means a person don't know, is this ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend or something of the sort. You got dumped, and there's a lot of doors that it could possibly be referring to, but all those things, its ruling is all in its own place. We're not taking 1 and 1 and making 11. We're taking 1 and 1 and making 2. So we're just dealing with the issue here of a non-Muslim who is not, or a non-Muslim who has betrayed you. So we're dealing with same gender, obviously not gay, but same gender, but who has betrayed you personally, and then you still keep on good ties with them and things, yes, it will still remain permissible. Like I say, we're not getting involved in all the other details as to whether this is a man and this non-Muslim is actually his old Christian girlfriend that he wants to keep good with, or it's a girl and she wants to keep with the old boyfriend and things. We're not talking all these things. We know all the ruling of how this is all haram. So we're not dealing with that. We're just dealing with the issue itself here, the question, which was continuing to keep ties with a non-Muslim person, and therefore the ruling is given according to that. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah khair. Okay, everybody, remember you can send in your questions via Skype to username ummahradio or on the Q&A thread on the forums. Okay, we have one more question. It's pretty long. I was on a visit to the city of Mecca and Medina lately so that I can use all my time there for ibadah of all kinds. I have been taking a medicine to stop my periods. The system of the medicine is such that the day I stop my pills, from the next day I'll start having periods, but I'm having very less in quantity, once a day, only dirty, light to brown, dark brown colored fluid blood discharge since the last 6 days without any symptoms of periods like the pain, etc., and it is still continuing still. I have been offering salah in this situation, went to the haram of both Makkah and Medina, prayed there even in the Hadim area, did nafil tawafs, touched the Kaaba, and did so many other important religious things just because I have been told that this is not to be considered as periods, as it is just the result of cleaning of my internal organs. But I'm very confused and scared as to if this is actually considered periods according to Islamic views. Should I stop praying until this kind of discharge stops, as I was unaware of the ruling, if any, on this? Will all my ibadah done during this duration of discharge days be nullified? Will Allah punish me for it, or do I have to give some dum or compensation? I have no idea at all of all this. I'm very young. Please tell me whether I did something major wrong or sinful this way. Will Allah accept my du'as, praise, and ibadah in such a state?
Okay, it's quite a lengthy question indeed, like you said. Coming to the issue at hand is that basically this woman had taken pills, and I can always tell people, pearls is not it's not something definite. These pearls are termed as it interrupts the uh, monthly cycle. It does not stop it, it interrupts it. So unfortunately in this case here, according to the Hanafi madhab, if a woman any color of discharge she gets, it will be considered as being her haid, her monthly period. It may be a little bit at a time, it may be whatever color, but something is coming out, so therefore it is considered to be her period. And therefore, like I just mentioned now, because of the simple matter that the pearls are an interrupter and not a stopper. So what unfortunately this woman, she was in her period while she was doing all these things here. So when it comes to when she asked you about being punished or being sinful and wrong and everything, this Allah will forgive her because she did not know. When it comes to a person doing things unknowingly, then obviously she thought that after she was informed by whoever it was that she was in a pure state and everything like this, so therefore she did all these things. If she knew that she was not in the state, she would not have done it. So it was not an intentional that she went out to just be a rebel and just do all these type of things. No, she did it as a result of as you can say, a lack of forgive such people, and this such a person would not be sinful for having done all these things. But because these things were done during the while she was having her period, therefore all these things all this ibadah and things will be invalid, and therefore the compensation that she will have to give will be one dam, and this animal will have to be slaughtered in the haram. I assume this woman is back home now and everything, so in that case she can get somebody who lives there in Makkah to slaughter the animal on her behalf, and that would suffice for all that actions that she had done during this state, and then her case will be cleared, inshaAllah. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah khair. Okay, all I'm seeing is one question left on the forums. What do you say about the Israeli product boycott, like Coca-Cola, etc.? Does there need to be evidence for something like this before it's boycotted? Like if it's listed somewhere, boycott Coca-Cola because it supports Israel, do they need to provide proof of such a statement?
Okay, when it comes to boycotting the products of Israel and all these places, then there are enough websites, I think, like what's this one, inminds.co.uk amongst others, which has a large list of companies which send money to Israel, which in turn is used to kill Muslims. So therefore it is the duty of every Muslim that he boycotts and avoids all these buying any of these products, because otherwise you will be an accessory to the crime, because it's you who giving your money so that a bullet can be bought, so that a Palestinian Muslim can be killed. So and with regards to evidence, obviously everything relies on evidence, but like I say, evidence is there. It's been mentioned long ago. It's not something which came about yesterday. It came about years and years and years ago. So like I say, there's nothing new that a person has to find out or what as a reason now why they need to boycott these things. So yes, Coca-Cola has to be boycotted. Additionally, even over and above the issue of this support of Israel, Coca-Cola also contains a minute amount of alcohol, and from that point also it becomes impermissible. So one, from its intrinsic nature, it should be avoided, and two, because of their support for Israel, it it should be avoided. So therefore, as you can say, Muslims should avoid Coca-Cola and they should boycott it and boycott all the rest of all those other companies as well that support Israel, and not only just Israel, but any other places who give money or are aiding in the killing of Muslims. All those people and companies, they too have to be boycotted. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah khair. Do you have any more questions? I don't see any more.
No, I have received nothing on the side either.
So call it a night.
I suppose so, yes. Okay, yet somebody's saying they have one question. So I suppose last and final one for the night.
All right.
Not all that many questions tonight, actually, to be honest.
Yeah. All right, here's the question. Okay, what is the ruling of having fun? Like, for example, we don't really do much during school holidays and it gets quite boring at home. Is something like going for bowling okay? Obviously not missing any salah.
With regards to the ruling of fun and games and all these type of things, obviously, like was mentioned, one of the most important factors is the not missing of salah, and all these things are termed in the Sharia as lahu, as play and amusement and futility, regardless of whether you like it or not. These things are termed as futility, but to a degree there is a certain amount of these type of things you can get involved in with. So yes, going like for a bit of bowling, it would be permissible. You play a little bit of sport with your friends and things like that. It's permissible. It should not become the aim and object in your life and things, and that you only live for these sort of things. That should not be because our purpose in this world is so that we can fix and make certain our abode in the year after. That we were created to worship Allah. Basically, that is it. So technically, if you really look at it, we are supposed to be spending 24/7 worshipping Allah. But Allah has given us time off to sleep, to eat, to talk, to convert, to visit one another, to have some fun and everything of the sort. Allah gives us leeway for all these type of things. So yes, there is the scope for having some, we say, halal fun. So yes, there is permissibility for it, but everything should be done in moderation, and it should not be gone overboard with. So it doesn't mean that, as you can say, because you on holidays, so now you spend your whole day just with games and things like that, and then what happened? You find the person don't read 5 minutes even of the Quran. So things should be kept in perspective. If you have extra time, take out some time for your ibadah, whether you perform some nafil salah, whether you read a bit of Quran, whether you do a little bit of dhikr, whatever the case may be, you do something, and you also do your games and whatever else it may be. So try to keep things in moderation, then it will be permissible. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah khair. Looks like we have no more questions. Yep, we don't. Do you want to end it with the dua?
I leave you to make the dua, Yassar.
No, Sheikh, it's of you.
You must also step up, Yassar. You're the Sheikh in training, so you must also make dua from now and then.
No, far from it.
All right then. So in any case, with that being that, we've finally done with all our questions quota for today. So inshallah, we will continue with the next question and answer next Thursday at 8:30 p.m. GMT for all those who have unanswered questions. Okay, my call just dropped. Any case, before it drops again, just quick repeat that inshallah next Thursday again at 8:30 p.m. GMT we'll have another live question and answer session. So if you have any other questions which comes up during the week or at any time, the thread will be made tonight inshallah. So you can always post your questions here one time so that it is ready for next week, so that you don't forget about it. And obviously these classes are recorded and reposted then onto YouTube. So if for some reason you missed the class, then you could always listen to the recording over there. So like I say, pose your questions in the thread and inshallah it will be answered in due time. Okay then, on that point we will end there and we say وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد سبحان الله وبحمده سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. Okay, Yassar and Sajid, Jazakumullahu khair for both of you taking out your time and the effort that is involved to spend so long, what's it now, nearly 1.5 hours. So Jazakumullah khair, both of you. I know it's quite taxing when you've got other things to do and then you have to take out time to, as you can say, host and do things like this as well. So, Jazakumullah khair.
Waiyaka.
Alright then, on that point we will close the show for tonight and meet again on Saturday night at 7:30 p.m. GMT for the tafsir class again. So until then, we're signing out now. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.